Yeah, I'll just wait a few more minutes to let the participants in, and then I'll start the introduction. Yeah, I'll start with the introduction. So hello, everyone. Welcome to our Seagate Storage Systems and Veeam webinar today. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Kara Rogeman, and I'm a category manager for the Tech Data Global Computing Components business. I am responsible for the marketing of Seagate within Tech Data. Seagate is a well-established partner in the IT market. With Seagate systems, you are offered data storage solutions built on trust, affordability, and reliability. Together with Veeam's popular backup and replication software, you are sure to have efficient and flexible backup storage solutions. We are happy to have today both Seagate systems and Veeam here today to talk about their solutions and how they interact with each other. Our first speaker today is Nigel Houghton, EMEA Director of Alliances at Veeam, who will enlighten you about the Veeam software and why it can help you and your storage solutions. Next, David Thompson, EMEA System Sales Manager at Seagate, will provide you with more information on Seagate systems. Afterwards, we will have a quick Q&A and some poll questions with which you will be able to win a fun prize, so stay tuned. Should you have some questions during the webinar, feel free to add them to the chat box and we will respond to them at the end of the call. Should you have any requests or question for Seagate or Veeam, you can always contact your sales representative or me and my colleague Lisa Lotte via componentsdesk@techdata.be. We are very happy to help you. And then I will now give the floor to Nigel Thompson for Veeam.
Thanks very much, Cara. Thanks for the kind introduction. You might have seen my Veeam Guru jacket. I stole that from somebody, but I've been working with Veeam for 3.5 years. I've been in the backup industry and the storage industry for a long time. And what I wanted to do was give you an overview of why I think Veeam is special. And also why we've just received figures that we've increased our market share in EMEA, according to IDC. So we are the #1 backup vendor in EMEA, and we've extended our lead in the last 6 months over the competition. And you'll see some of the numbers on the screen, the number of customers that we've got, the number of countries we're deployed in. They're the usual things that you'd expect. But let me give you some view behind the numbers, because a lot of people think about Veeam as being a small to medium-sized company, and that's not the case. We've really grown up into the enterprise, and we've really taken the cloud world and embraced that. And we've seen a huge increase in the number of customers that are running hybrid solutions. In terms of our coverage, we are 100% channel, so we have a great resonance with Seagate, and especially with Tech Data, in being able to deliver solutions complete in that way. And what we have done in the background is that the Seagate solutions that you're going to see today are part of the Veeam Ready program, meaning that you've got the confidence to be able to deploy this solution knowing that it's been tested it works really well, and you're clear about what the performance metrics are going to look like. So that's the bit about the company and the relationship. The bit in the middle is a graphic about what we do. So a lot of people associate Veeam with backing up VMware. And that's true, that's our DNA. But we also back up many more hypervisors. We back up Hyper-V, we also back up AHV from Nutanix. But the next set of icons down is we also back up physical servers, and we also back up endpoints, and we also back up cloud workloads. So our ability to back up data has expanded dramatically, much more so than people understand or have seen, and that's fine. I mean, we understand that that's part of the process. It's our education. What we do, which I think is special, is on that right-hand side in the top is a common figure. So we back up all of these things, and then we create a common backup image. That's that representation, that orange box. I'll talk more about that on the next slide. And the key drivers that we're seeing for the business today, why we're growing significantly, double-digit growth yet again last quarter. You'll see the results come out later this month. That ransomware, it seems, is the key driver. It's driving more projects. There's more ransomware attacks. I saw a story yesterday. We had a customer meeting cancelled because the customer had been attacked by ransomware. So, that's kind of the prevalence of what we're seeing. Compliance is still a big deal. Veeam's very well known around our recovery speeds. So again, I'll show you a little bit more about that. And then these cloud workloads are the ones that are really driving the business. And the number one cloud workload for us is Office 365. So as COVID has made more people move towards things like Teams, then it's the understanding that your company data is with Microsoft, but the understanding also that you're still responsible for your own data. So whilst Microsoft provide the resiliency and the infrastructure, then they still need, your customer still is responsible for the workloads within Teams and on Office 365. And you're able to then bring that back out to your data center. So again, requiring more infrastructure within the data center to hold that data, even though the workload's sitting in the cloud. And then the last piece is around containers. So we're seeing a lot more deployment of containers, certainly in the enterprise space. And we made an acquisition last year of Kasten, who were the leader in that space of being able to back up containers. And they've got a very similar ethos to what Veeam, how Veeam provides. So let's move to the next slide, and I'll show you what I mean about that orange square. So what we do, which I think is one of our secret things, is that we back up these cloud instances, the hypervisors, physical machines as well. We send it to this repository, and we create this common format. And the great thing about that common format is that you can restore it anywhere else. So you can take a physical backup and restore it as a virtual machine and restore it in the cloud, or any different combinations that you can see on the screen. So it kind of helps people with the flexibility of being able to not just recover quickly, but also to recover in different places as well. And that's all about the Veeam ethos. We're about this zero lock-in. That common format, you can restore it using a free utility that we provide on the web as well. Next slide then shows a little bit then about, I talked about the recovery speed and the backup speed. And one of the key things that we do is that we provide the ability to work with different storage vendors to be able to create extremely quick backups and restore points, and much more so than the conventional backup infrastructure that you're used to, where it's just one full backup a week and then maybe differentials during the week. We can bring that right down and do multiple backups. And then when it comes to recovery, then that takes its whole, it allows you to recover much more granularly as well. And we'll see that we've taken that even further in version 11, which is the slide that I'll finish on. So the next slide is shows about recovering data, because people talk about us as backup software. When you look at the business just cares about recovery. And that's where the tie-up with Veeam and Seagate makes a lot of sense, because Seagate, as you'll see, is providing high performance, great value products, but the performance allows you to restore workloads quicker. As I talk to people within our organization, to put it into perspective with end users, businesses are built on applications, or I'll just call them workloads, because I like that term better, because it doesn't matter where it resides. It could be anywhere. It could be in the cloud. It could be in your own data center or a shared data center. But companies, businesses are based on workloads. Those workloads help the functions of the business. And when those functions disappear, getting them back again is important, really important to the business. And as I've discussed already, ransomware is not the kind of accidental things that really are challenging. It's the things that are happening on purpose. So malicious attacks and ransomware that are being seen as the key drivers for being a lot more careful about protecting your data. So what I've got here is really just a slide around how we recover. So we do a thing called instant VM recovery. Your backups are going to be sitting on Seagate hardware. And then if that VM disappears, we're able to recover that VM very quickly. And we do that not just by copying all of the data across back to the production system and standing it up from there. We can stand it up on the backup storage itself, which is so much quicker and so much more important around why you should have super fast storage as a backup target. And that also helps when we're recovering individual files, because you can stand up that image and you can dig inside it to take out individual files. We saw a survey, in fact, Monday it was, that said that individual file restores is still by far the most popular way that people recover data. And our ability within Veeam to be able just to stand up and have a look inside a VM and recover one single item, whether that's a file or an email or a database table, is really important of recovering data and getting businesses and workloads back up and running. And that's really the key behind why people are deploying Veeam and Seagate together. So the next slide talks about another secret ingredient of Veeam as well. You remember I told you that having good and reliable storage at the back end allows us to stand up a backup image directly on that storage. It's our feature we call Data Labs, and it's really coming into usage in what we call data reuse. And there's 5 key functions around that. It allows you to set up a sandbox, so you can take an image of a VM or even an old VM and stand that up and test it. You can also use it to make sure that your recoveries are going to work properly. We call that sure backup and sure replica. You can do a staged restore, so you can stand it up, run a few commands on it before you put it back into production. Secure restore, well, one of those functions is testing it with malware software. I had a customer that said to me, if I have a malware attack, how do I know when that malware attack happened? And the answer is you don't. You have to go back. You can't just clear that up. You've got to go back and test all of your backups as well to make sure. And the issue that companies have is malware software only produces that fix after the event of malware being available. So it could be sitting in old copies of data still. So again, having that fast storage allows you to go back through all of those copies and test for malware retrospectively with the latest versions of malware tracing software. And then the last piece is around data integration. So again, lots of companies are building, and this is a completely different story about building their business intelligence around the data that they're sitting on. And one of the biggest piles of data is their backup data, because it provides snapshots all the way through time that you can get real insight and intelligence around. So companies that are looking to start an AI project, they immediately start, let's say, well, let's start collecting data. And the answer is, you don't have to, because you've already got it there. You can just go back and analyze old copies of backups and get 6 months, a year's worth of data and intelligence from that stuff that you've already got. And again, this allows you to do that very simply and quickly. Having good, reliable Seagate storage at the back end allows you to do that even faster. So that's my bit around, why Veeam is been really special, and we've seen that growth coming along, these features. And what I just wanted the opportunity is the last slide is to talk about version 11. Hopefully you've seen a little bit more about this, but this really boils down into 5 key new features, and they are all around the changing world of backup and adding functionality. So I told you about our ability to back up at regular intervals. We've taken that a stage further, and we've introduced in version 11 continuous data protection, which means that as you're making changes, those changes are being logged, and you're able to move to any point in time to be able to do that. And again, I won't say, that has to be on good quality disk platforms at the back end to be able to do that. Ransomware has made things difficult for a lot of companies, and we've now got a hardened Linux repository, which is very important, because ransomware guys are pretty clever, and what they're doing is they're not only targeting your primary storage, they're targeting your secondary storage and your backup storage as well. So we've seen companies that have had their backup data encrypted at the same time. And so having this hardened Linux repository, again, that's part of the Veeam Ready program that Seagate solutions have been attached to, allows, and it's got its Cohasset certificate, meaning that it's very hardened and allows you to be confident that ransomware isn't going to attack that. We've also provided much more functionality in the blob storage space or object storage space, providing functionality for colder, lower cost versions for deeper archive, reducing costs. We've expanded our instant recovery process. We can now recover more VMs to more platforms more instantly than ever before. I'd advise you to go and have a look at the website on that one. And then for our service provider customers, which we have many, many of, we've really increased the functionality around backup as a service and disaster recovery as a service that service providers can provide to their customers. So those are the 5 key features. I'm going to hand over to David now, who's going to then talk through the platform at the back end, and you've got that context about why the Veeam and Seagate relationship is so important.
Thank you, Nigel. That's great, perfect. Just a quick reminder to the audience that, as we said, questions and answers at the end, but you can fill in any questions or write any questions in the Q&A tab at the bottom. And just a bit about Seagate. So like Veeam, as Nigel says, are top of their game. They're the leading manufacturer for backup solutions. Many of you know Seagate from the disk world as being a leading manufacturer of disk drives, etc. We're another multi-billion-dollar company, much like Veeam. We ship huge amounts of storage every year, over 350 exabytes, and have got a long history in doing this, 40 years plus, and many employees. Next slide, please. What may be of news and new to the audience today is, in addition to making drive units, SSDs and HDDs, we also make solutions and what we call systems. And in fact, we've been doing this for quite a while. It's come from acquisition 5-6 years ago from Xarotex and Dot Hill. We today supply lots of other manufacturers as OEMs effectively. So there's some big names in the bottom left-hand corner: IBM, Dell, Veritas. There's actually quite a few of those. I'd say there's probably 30 plus OEMs out there. And I guess what's interesting is we've deployed over 1 million of these. So not only are we pretty big from a drive perspective, we're also probably the leading manufacturer when it comes to systems also. Next slide, please. Why Seagate? What's different about us? Well, there's some uniquenesses. One thing is we're the only manufacturer in the world to own this IP from end to end. And what I mean by that is we manufacture the drives. In fact, we manufacture the heads and platters and everything in the drives to create those units. When it comes to systems, we integrate those drives into our own chassis and own chassis technology. We have our own hardware for data protection and RAID, and we have our own software on top of that. I don't think there's another manufacturer in the world that has all of those components to that solution under one roof. We've got a proven track record. There's a lot of these out there. So they're working very well. They're very reliable, obviously, and quick. And what you'll see today is we've got a pretty broad product portfolio. Our channel partners buying the Seagate products have access to all of our portfolio, whereas the OEMs really just take slices from time to time. And the same as Veeam, we're a really channel-friendly company. Seagate are rock solid when it comes to channel, and we like to work with our partners. Tech Data are a great partner to work with. And alongside that, we've got a structured channel program to help with all of the partners and all of you guys that are on the call today. Essentially, we look at the fact that we're perfect hardware to complement Veeam's perfect software, really, at the end of the day. Next slide, please. And we'll dig into a little bit of the portfolio now. And click another one. Yeah, so as you know, Seagate have got a whole bunch of HDDs and SSDs, and we utilize many of those in our systems today. In fact, of course, it's only Seagate. And when it comes to enclosures, we manufacture 4 different enclosure types. If we go from the bottom up, we've got a pretty standard, industry standard 2U platform with 24 small form factor drives, 2.5-inch drives, which can be either SSD or mission critical HDDs. Next one up is a 2U 12-bay solution, which utilizes large form factor drives. So that's anything today up to 18 terabytes. We can mix and match and put small form factors in as well. We've got converter sleds, etc. Then we got probably our most popular box, especially in the backup world, the 5U84. So that takes 84 large form factor drives, which means it's petabyte and a half kind of data in there. Again, we can mix and match and make it a hybrid system. And then the very top one is pretty unique. It's the highest density box on the market today from anybody. And that takes 106 drives, which is just shy under 2 petabytes of data in 4U of rack space. And click the next box open, please. Within these solutions, we have various modules that give them their identity. So that the lower module on the slide here is a JBOD module. So when we have 2 of these in any one of these chassis, it creates a JBOD, just a bunch of drives. That means we can sit behind an internal RAID solution or some kind of software-defined storage. The next one up, the Exos X series, is our data protection unit. This is a RAID module, and we'd have 2 of these in the box as well, any of the bottom 3 boxes actually. This has our own ASIC technology on board. So we even manufacture our own CPU, which is an ASIC, which is designed specifically around RAID functions so that we can improve performance, meaning that all data protection calculations are done in hardware, etc. There's various different performance levels of these controllers to go from, entry level, medium, or extremely fast. And then we've even got CPU platforms that can go into these boxes. Next click, please. All of these give us various different host connection types at the end of the day, whether it be simple SAS for the JBOD, or whether it be fiber channel or iSCSI for the RAID sort of platforms, and then in the server element, various connection types. Next slide, please. Just to highlight one thing that I think is particularly relevant to the backup world and Veeam. One consideration when we're talking about drives, and particularly large capacity drives, which are very popular in the backup environment, are some concerns around rebuild times. I guess the issue is, as drive technology has increased, and we've gone from 10 to 12, 14, now 18 terabyte drives, so have rebuild times. And that's something that a lot of manufacturers struggle with, and a lot of end users have major concerns that, if they're going to implement 18 terabyte drive technology in their backup solution, are they really looking at a week to rebuild a drive should it fail? And is that a problem? Well, Seagate have got a great patented technology we call ADAPT. It's a method of improving rebuild times really, really dramatically. So bringing that 5-6 days, maybe a week of rebuild time down to just a few hours, and more importantly, bringing any critical ability for the system to recover in a drive failure down really just a few hours. Next slide, please. This is just a chart that displays that, and I guess the 2 most important areas of this, if we look at traditional RAID 8+2, and if 2 drives fail, the 3rd drive to get back to fault tolerance takes, and this is based on 10 terabyte drives, up to 55 hours. If we've got 50 drives in a system of 56 we're showing here, that fault tolerance is achieved in just one and a half hours. That really starts to eliminate concerns around large capacity drives, and in these backup environments, that can be really important. Next slide, please. Another feature that I believe is relevant in the Veeam world and backup environments are expandability. We've got enormous expandability on all of our solutions. If I take the entry level box, the 2U12, we can expand that up to 144 drives. And this can be, in reality, it can be just a few drives at a time, or 1 drive at a time, as we kind of comment at the bottom. And the same goes across the rest of the range. I'll take an example with the 84 bay as well. That goes to over 336 drives, or up to 336 drives. With that one, we need to expand 14 at a time, but it gives you great flexibility when it comes to growing your backup and archive solutions. Next slide, please. A little bit about management, and next one as well. We've got a very simple, next slide, please, very simple management interface. It's our philosophy that we need to keep things easy to use and easy to implement. And what we do with our management is make a front-end GUI. We've also got command line should you need it, and should you need to roll out cookie cutter solutions, same time and time again. But with this, we display how we orchestrate the system and any important immediate information. Obviously, we send email alerts and things like that should things start to go wrong. But when you go in to manage the system, this is the first screen you'd come across, and it gives you an enormous amount of information. It gives you your connectivity type at the top. You can see in this particular example, we've got both fiber and iSCSI connectivity simultaneously. It shows you that we've got 2 storage pools and how they're segmented. It shows you IOPS that are happening at any point in time, and it shows you any errors that may occur on the box. And we can drill down into all sorts of detail here. We can drill down into performance matrix, what's happening now, but also what's been happening over the past 5 or 6 months. It's very intuitive and easy to use. And should you get a failure, there's areas that you can go into and click, and it will show you a physical representation of exactly where that drive or power supply, whatever it is, has failed. Next slide, please. From a competitive standpoint, I also think we've got many advantages. I mean, here we've shown you a few elements of where we differentiate ourselves from a number of different products. We've got fantastic read and write performance from the box, and writes, I think, particularly important in these sort of solutions. I know recovery times are important as well, but people often forget about writes, and if you're doing regular backups, that's a predominant feature. So some of our systems achieve over 5 gigabytes per second, and those same sort of systems can do random IOPS at over 600,000 IOPS per second. We mentioned the advanced data protection here, which I'd like to highlight as well. This is the adapt feature, which is the erasure coded version of RAID. And again, we're pretty unique in having that type of solution. And again, we're the only manufacturer really to have all of this above technology and own the drive technology as well. Owning the drive technology has a number of advantages. If you think about it, when we're designing chassis and RAID solutions or SAN solutions, having that insight into what's happening next in the drive world is a massive advantage from a future protection standpoint. So we know which drives are coming next. We know which technologies within drives are coming next, like HAMR, etc., which may use more power. And we can design and have designed our chassis to future protect you, saving you money in the future, saving your customers money in the future. Next slide, please. Talking about saving money in the future, what have we've done some research to find out what customers want from data storage solutions. And the number 1 priority actually is TCO, total cost of ownership. So having that future protection and things like that is extremely important. Secondly, reliability and scalability, both of which we achieve really well. Ease of deployment, that's your management type of scenario. And then finally, security. Of course, like other manufacturers, we can implement secure drives, SED or FIPS drives. So that's an option that's available with us too. Next slide, please. So just a brief roundup as to why Seagate. Again, a reminder that all of this technology is our own end-to-end, which means as we innovate and bring new things to market, we can achieve bigger and better things. I mentioned HAMR drives as an example, but we've also got our dual actuator drive technology coming along. Lower cost of ownership for our customers because we can implement these new technologies as time moves forward. Experience, over 30 years of experience in the systems element alone, and over 40 years experience in the drive world. And then partnering with Seagate brings a huge portfolio of products and real partnerships at the end of the day with us. We're looking to partner with you guys and work and help us both grow. Next slide, please. And with that in mind, we've got great fulfillment of quotes and also really quick delivery times of systems. We've got deal registration, which is extremely important for our partner community. It means we ring fence opportunities, 1 opportunity per partner, and that's great because it enables you to make sure that you make the most of those opportunities and the margins involved. We got a partner program that you're more than welcome to come and sign up to. This gives all sorts of benefits. We got online information, we got online deal reg, we've got configuration tools and that sort of thing. And then finally, we've got evaluation units and things like that, should you require them. Thank you very much. And next slide, please. So what I'd say is come and join us, come and join Seagate, come and join Veeam, and we're here to help you and your customers with those backup solutions. And we can open the floor. I think that's the last slide.
Thank you very much, Nigel, David. Are there already any questions? I thought there was someone who tried to ask something, might have interrupted them. Maybe we can first go ahead with the quick questions so that we can see whether, sorry, who is there anyone talking? Okay. No, maybe we can first start with the poll and then we can go ahead from there. Jana, could you start the questions?
Yes.
So here we have the first question. Maybe Nigel, could you explain a bit?
Let me come off mute first. Yeah, so this was the one that we talked about. Well, we've still got 3 people that have answered, but I'm not going to give the answer away quite yet. But this is the general trend that we're seeing in the industry that I talked about, and you know, I mentioned a number of these subjects as I went through the slide. All of them are generating these particular kind of projects, but really the one that is doing the most is the correct answer to this particular one. And
Okay.
I don't think we're going to get any more, are we? But
No.
the one is ransomware attacks, and I think you're seeing that this is being particularly played out in the press. I seem to see stories every day about attacks, and we've even got some really good use cases and stories on our website about customers that thought they'd lost everything, looking to pay big ransoms in Bitcoin. And then we're able to recover from their backups and get a business back up and running. So yeah, ransomware attacks is the right answer there.
Thank you.
Second question. Oh.
Oh yes, yeah. So this was the second to last slide about one of the features that not many people know about, and I talked about this feature called Data Labs, which gives you the ability to stand up workloads, but again, it has to be on good performance storage. David, do you know of any good performance storage platforms?
I could think of 1 or 2, maybe that have been in here today.
Excellent.
Thank you, Nigel.
I don't want to give anything away for the other questions, but again, yeah, I mean, all of the above were the ones, the reasons why people use that feature. The backups reside on the Seagate hardware, and from the software you can immediately stand that up and do anything that you want with it, including testing your restores. That's called Sure Backup. Searching for malware on historical data, and also mining data through backup copies for things like AI projects. So yeah, good work everyone on getting that one right. Thanks.
Okay, next question.
Rebuild times. How can a customer reduce rebuild times? use smaller HDDs, use Seagate HDDs, which could be the one, but isn't. Use RAID 6, and everyone's got it straight away, straight in there with Adapt. Well done, guys.
So yeah, sharing the results, but you already saw it. So, and then the last question.
So how much capacity is available in our highest density solution? Is it a terabyte? Is it a petabyte? Is it 1.9 petabytes or 1.9 terabytes? Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we have a question. In the Q&A.
Here we go. Yeah. Oh, Adam, hi. So that's one for me. I'm wearing my Veeam Guru jacket, as I said. This one is definitely for a Veeam Guru, but which I'm not. But I would. So, do we do immutable snapshots yet? We do not, because we interact with the snapshot technology from vendors. So there's kind of, maybe you might take this offline. I can see you on LinkedIn, but yeah, we effectively control the snapshots from VMware, from Hyper-V through VSS. That's kind of sort of getting quite technical, and also snapshots from storage. But some of those vendors provide immutable snapshots of their own sort of control. So the answer is depends. Again, that's something that we're seeing in the ransomware market. Don't forget, we've also got our immutable repository, the Linux hardened repository in version 11 with its Cohasset certificate to show that that's, you're kind of creating backup copies directly into secure, and that version 11 functionality is the one that is fully tested with the Seagate solutions. So there's kind of a few ways of doing what you want to do there, and certainly the hardened Linux repository in version 11 with Seagate is an answer to that as well. Okay. Yep. Great answer, though, Adam. You really woke me up then. Great question. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? You can also unmute yourself and just ask it right away. Don't have to go via the chat box. So if there are no further questions, David or Nigel, is there anything you would like to add to this webinar?
I just wanted to say, so thank you very much for the invitation. The channel is extremely important to both the organizations. We have, again, our own partner program, our own deal registration program, and it's important to make sure that you take full advantage of that to maximize the value that, and the, to the customer, and the and also get the best level of pricing that you can. But really, to be sure in that Veeam Ready program that the testing's already been done between the technologies up to the latest versions, so that you're in full confidence of the solution that you're able to specify and send out to your customers is going to work to the best of its ability. And you're not that guinea pig company that's trying to get a brand new solution running. It's been done many times in the past.
Yeah.
I agree. I concur with that, Nigel. Thank you, and yeah, thanks for the great partnership.
Sarah, can you go to the next slide, please, before we wrap up? Hi, everyone who's attending today. We would like to thank Dave and Nigel and the team of Tech Data for all their support and their inspirational presentations. If you have any regional questions in regards to systems or enterprise units in the Belgian market, please reach out to Kaat, who is our sales manager within the region, or myself for anything marketing related questions. Kaat, maybe you can add something to this part. If not, thank you all. And again, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us.
Yeah,
thank you.
Indeed. Thank you. Yeah, and I will close.